Go for it, Tori.
Is it in the chat?
Not yet.
If you
Sorry.
could,
Yeah. Sorry. There you go.
No worries.
I will paste the bits too.
Okay.
Oh, copy paste. Here we go. There's that part you need.
Okay. So, kitties. All right. Hi. Welcome, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 20th. You are attending the Urban Forestry Committee meeting. And pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be held remotely. So welcome, everybody. What we like to do first is just for those on the board to go around, on the committee, to go around and introduce themselves, starting alphabetically by first name.
I think I might be, oh, never mind, I'm not. Sorry.
Might be me, Allison Bernard. I am a tree lover and a tree advocate, and I am a certified tree keeper. And I'm an associate member of the committee, I should say.
Hi, everyone. My name is Calla Taylor. I'm a senior in high school, and I'm the youth member on the committee.
Hello, my name is Doris Jenkins. I'm a climate resilience engineer and arborist, and I'm a member of the committee as well.
I'm Dorothy Supad, a tree enthusiast and a member of the committee.
I'm Marion Davis. I'm a tree enthusiast and a member of this committee.
Hello, my name is Michael Hendricks, also a tree enthusiast and committee member.
Maybe I'm next.
Yeah.
Hi, Rob Van Denneville. Just to change it up a little bit, I'm a nature enthusiast, and among many other things I love are trees. And I'm an associate member of the committee.
My name.
You go, Tori.
Yeah, it depends on if I'm feeling like a Tori or Victoria. So, my name is Tori Antonino. I am a co-chair of the Urban Forestry Committee, and to soon bestow that title upon one of you good people. And to our city top urban forester. I don't know what your title is these days, but Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa Bukili, senior urban forestry and landscape planner. Just a mouthful there. Also tree enthusiast. Yeah, and take care of all the trees of Somerville one way or another, or try to. We have a bunch of people in the audience.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Do my thing.
Yes, at this time, because we value transparency and participation, we invite anyone who's in the audience who wants to be promoted to a panelist. So if you want to, Vanessa will invite you now, and you can, if you want to turn your screen on, you're welcome to. If not, just if you'd like to join the room and hang out with us, we really encourage that. And if you feel comfortable, please introduce yourself.
Hi, is this a good time for me to introduce myself?
Yeah, then we'll go into public comments. So just give us a hi and we'll...
Hi, my name is Patricia Murphy-Sheehy. I'm at 28 and 30 West Street, and I am requesting a tree permit fee waiver.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll go. I'm James Sheehy. I live with Trish at 28 Ware Street. I'm here for the same reason. Nice to meet everybody.
Okay. Welcome. Okay. We're going to go into public comment, and if anyone feels inspired to say hello, just raise your hand and we'll call on you. So for the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so, we'll take public comment. And I believe a Weir Street that is on the agenda for today. I think that's our first item.
Lori, I wonder if we can, if you would be willing to take that out of order.
Absolutely.
Patricia asked if we could go early because she has a hard stop.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Can we take out the resident? You know what? That's fine. Let's take that. Let's do that. And then we'll return to the rest of our public comments. Thanks.
Malik, do you
so-
want to set up the topic or I can do it? You're muted, but it looks like you are going to do an intro.
Hello, could everyone hear me?
Hi, Malik.
Hello. Yeah, in the case of 2428 Rare Street, we have 2 black walnuts being removed for roughly 42 inches, and some trees are being replanted, and the owner occupancy is very ambiguous because they live next door at 24 and they've bought the parcel at 28 and they want to remove these trees and then move over to 28. So I'm wondering if that then voids them out of the residential exemption because they do not live there currently, and it's kind of, you know, it's gray area.
Just a couple of clarifications, if I might. I don't know that it matters, but I know it says there's 2 black walnuts. One is a black walnut and one is a catalpa tree, just for the record. Also, this was initially one lot. We've lived there for about 30 years in May. And we recently, well, about a year ago, we had the lot split. So there's now 2426 is the lot with nothing on it. 2830 is the lot that we currently live in a 2-family. And we're looking to build a new house on the empty lot 2426. And in order to do so, as Malik mentioned, we need to take down a couple of trees and are hoping to get the residential exemption. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
We don't do these very often, so I might just remind the committee that part of the tree preservation ordinance, the private tree removal section, there is an option for a homeowner or a property owner to request a hearing of a waiver of paying the fees at a meeting of the Urban Forestry Committee. So as this is a tricky case, we wanted to get some feedback from the Urban Forestry Committee members. Yeah, it's an unusual situation we have not come across before. Does anyone have any questions for Malik or me or the property owners?
I have a question, Vanessa. What, remind us please what the fee is? I can't remember if it's by inches or something else.
$600 per inch of tree removed
Mm-hmm.
in diameter.
Or replanting the same number of diameter caliper inches of tree as being removed. So replanting or paying money or a combination.
And so in this case, the intention is to replant or not?
Yeah, there's the intention to replant. We have a whole plan done by a landscape architect that calls for a number of trees and brushes. We can provide that if you need. I don't have it on me right now, but that is absolutely in the plan.
It would be a partial. They're already they're planting a portion of the number of caliper inches that are being removed.
It would be 17 inches of the 42 owed.
Okay.
Leaving 25. times the 600, which is a large number.
And Malik or Vanessa, what is the, can you remind all of us how the money is used goes into the
Tree
pot
fund.
when it's to purchase more trees?
Yep.
Okay.
The tree fund is used for tree planting and maintenance from the city.
And if this were a single big lot, we would not be having this conversation. They could just do what they want.
Well, they couldn't do what they want, but they
Well,
could be,
but-
yes. Yeah, I mean,
but they could
yes,
get the waiver,
without
but yeah.
having to pay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, and if it's an owner occupied unit, you can remove, is it 2 trees every 2 years without
No, it's
penalty?
you could remove any tree.
Gotcha.
For the moment. I mean, we're looking at we're looking at the TPO in a little bit. I don't know if we've amended that.
Still, it has not been changed officially yet.
Okay.
So just in case it wasn't clear, so, you know, we're living currently in 28 and 30, right? We're building a new house on what is now 24 and 26, that those numbers weren't there like 2 years ago. It was all 28 and 30, right? And as soon as we build that new house, we're going to be living in that new house. So we're going to be living on the property with the newly divided property, which the trees are being removed from in order to build a house, in order to live in it.
And then you'll be renting out, then you'll have the two properties. Then you'll have 2 properties, right? You're not planning on.
Right, the intent is to keep both properties, and currently we have Trish's mother living in the first unit of the existing house. So the plan is to keep her there and rent out the top unit of 2830, and then move into 2426 and rent out one of the units in there.
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm
So-
understanding the math correctly that we're looking at $15,000.
that sounds
are.
about. That sounds like the number I heard from my architect. Yeah.
And so
Yep,
Malik
that's the
or
number.
Vanessa, what are you looking, because we don't do these very often, if in fact never since I've been on the committee. What are you looking for, our advice, our comments? Is there, or you're just want us to keep aware of what's going on?
Ultimately, the decision comes to Malik, but he would love some advice and recommendations from the committee.
If I could say something and ask one question, it seems like the spirit of the law is trying to give a break to residential folks. And it seems like in this case, I'm really sympathetic to it's a residential situation. Even though we love trees, like it seems like it's a very residential, close to owner occupied situation. One question I'd have for Malik or Vanessa is when you have given these exemptions, like what do you look at? What are the criteria? Can you think of examples where you have and haven't given exemptions?
I can give you an example in which I think is almost current, and I won't give an exemption for it. Someone's moving from one house in one part of Somerville to another house in another part of Somerville, and they want to use the fact that they have a residential exemption in that first house to then, excuse them from tree removal mitigation in the second one. And that it's a blatant, easy no for me. Because it's going to take a year for this said house to be built, in which case they won't even be living in it in the first place. And then they'll get rid of the trees, and it's pretty much a development situation because this person owns several houses throughout Somerville. So
And in general, a property owner has to show a residential exemption, which is something on their tax bill, I believe. Is that correct, Malik?
proves owner occupancy. So we give the waiver to people who live there and own a property. So that's the 2 considerations that have to be met.
Is it legally possible to provide a partial exemption?
It is.
That's kind of where I've been thinking, because it's not dissimilar. There's there, so now there was one property, now it is two properties. They are adjacent. So this will, I know it's not this person is moving to the other side of Somerville, it's very close. Tell us more. What I would like to know, in addition to what a partial exemption might look like, I'm interested to really understand the replacement, the tree replacement, the caliper inch replacement, because that's what we desperately need our residents to do, is to grow more plants and
We
trees.
have the installation of 6 faceted hornbeams to be replanted. And 4 hornbeams and 2 saucer magnolias.
What kind of hornbeams were they?
Faceted?
Are they native?
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
I think usually the fast digit ones are for Pinus betulus, so they're not native to this area,
Oh,
I believe. I don't think there's an.
I wish I had
No.
the, I'm still at work. I'm not, if I was at home, I would have the plans in front of me. There's many different types of plants, bushes, and other greenery that we have arranged over all parts of the yard. I wish I had that in front of me now. We can certainly submit that if that is of interest.
care for me to share my screen and
Let me
show
give you
it?
permission. I think I have to go.
All right. Let's see if I could do this.
You should
Oh,
be able
that's
to now.
already. If I can find it. Okay. Bear with me, folks. Okay. It's been recorded.
While
And
Malik is
it'll be-
looking, I'm just going to give a quick, I don't know if you know about the importance of planting native species, but
You wanna see
our native
that?
insects depend on native species, especially native trees. And we're in a pollinator devastation right now. So that would sway me in a certain way if you're going to plant native plants versus non-native.
Truthfully, I'd have to research the names here to determine if they're native or not. I mean, these are the foundation hasn't been poured yet. So the trees that are proposed here are things that we've worked with the landscape architect on. And, if native trees were and bushes were desired, we can certainly enter into discussions about that.
Does everyone see the proper screen right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
perfect.
my glasses are not big enough for this.
You
Maybe
can
zoom
zoom
in.
in.
Yeah,
Plant
I'm
list.
zooming it in more, yeah. I mean, to me, 2 things matter. One is, as I echo Tori's concerns about native plants, that makes a big difference. Actually, there's 3 things that concern me. The second is, what are things going to grow into? Because, at planting, the caliper size, matters, but then some of these some trees will grow big, some trees will stay tiny, and you will have lost big trees that could harbor birds, that could be that could make a real impact on air quality and on temperature locally. And if you replace them with trees that are just nice little decorative skinny trees for life, then that is not really that is a permanent loss to the neighborhood. And then the third thing I would want to make sure of is, I have seen, and I don't know, and this is something, that you can educate me about, actually, Malik, but, if there were to then somehow be a situation where a tree gets planted and then gets removed a couple years later because, oh, well, yeah, it's a small tree and we have the right to do that, then all bets would really be off, in my opinion. Or if we don't, like how many of these trees might die.
In the ordinance, it's pretty much a 3-year window. A tree needs to be planted within 18 months and then survive for 18 months. So that it establishes after that, there is very little that could be done in terms of making sure that doesn't happen.
I can tell you that we very much enjoy all the trees that are left on our property. We've had one massive tree in the center of our property, which we had to take down because it was rotted, and large branches were falling down. There's another tree on the property that is so old and distressed that is likely also that we're going to need to remove it before it does some real damage. So, my hope is to keep trees alive, well and strong for as long as possible. And new growth is something that I'm very excited about on our property, so such that we can make sure that they're young and we can tend to them to be healthy, because a lot of the ones that are there are of a certain age that they've reached the end of their natural lifetime.
If it's not too disruptive, just to go back to Vanessa or Malik, can you give examples of times where we have granted residential exemptions? I think I'm still trying to understand, like, have we done that? What's the basis that decision was made?
Actually, most of our permit applications are owner occupants, and they do get full waivers for tree removals. The intent of the tree removal permit process and the mitigation is to more or less go against developments from buying up properties and clear cutting them, which is how most of our canopy loss is lost. Yeah, so.
That's helpful. But I'm still looking for, like, are you and Vanessa, can you point to a case where we had a non-owner occupant exemption and why? Like, I'm very
Usually it'd
sympathetic
be
to all this.
condition based. It'd be condition based, or if the tree had no future because it was growing into the foundation of a house, so if it was negatively impacting. If it was very healthy, then it wouldn't normally be the case that I would waive mitigation for. If it wasn't an owner occupant, of course.
Thanks. And I'm just asking to, like, understand precedents here.
Yep.
Dorothy, and then I see Doris.
So barring other things that I haven't yet thought about or we haven't discussed, I guess I would favor either a partial exemption or an intent from the owner to pay into the fund, because the fund is to help the overall city in some way. I can't speak to what amount or how to calculate that. But that would be kind of the direction I would lean into, Malik, if you're looking for advice or thoughts.
I think I'm thinking about what Michael said and what we've talked about with the intent of this and how it is really to stop developers, and it's not really about residents, long-term residents who have been stewards of their property and who have not cut down trees in the past on their property. And I feel like, given that this is a very unique situation, but they have been stewards of this lot for years and they have a replanting plan, I'm inclined to say that this is a situation where the Urban Forestry Committee can be on the side of the residents as well as on the side of the urban canopy. And I think the point about switching to native species is a really important one. And I feel like that could be a condition potentially for the larger stems to be native, and even maybe some of the landscaping. The other thing I'm wondering if the city were to install a tree in the sidewalk, if we could ask these folks to adopt that tree, you know, as part of it as well, so that, you know, it's not technically a stem that they're replacing on their property, but for all intents and purposes, in the location, it does kind of contribute to the caliper inches. I feel like that's my position, is I think these are folks who are trying to replace in kind, but that's my 2 cents.
And I've called for trees to be planted on our street next on the sidewalk near our house. I've already done that. I did that a couple of years ago. So that, I mean, you know, everybody wants their street to be lined with beautiful trees. I would be in complete agreement of that, and I would love that.
All right,
Rob?
any more thoughts?
I
Yeah,
see Rob.
Yeah, I would just echo the sentiment that a way to look at this is that in lieu of replacing the entire amount of inches or canopy, if we are requesting significant thought towards the ecological value of native trees and plants, that to me, that seems like a pretty good trade-off, if we want to call it that. So maybe just seeing if the architect could take a closer look at other native species and or trees and other plants that we know have really high ecological value. That would, I think, be pretty meaningful and helpful.
Thank you, Rob.
We'll
Oh,
be
do you
meeting,
want to respond? Sorry.
sorry. I was just gonna say, we're meeting tomorrow with the architect. We can certainly bring that up. Do you folks publish or have access to a list of native trees that that you would recommend?
I thought you'd never ask.
Okay.
Somebody put it in the chat, put our document in the chat if someone could. And perhaps a link to our suggested trees. So we recently, thank you for asking, James, published a Somerville pollinator action plan that goes into detail of the very importance of our pollinators and planting native plants and what trees might work in small yards, and especially your shrubbery. So thank you. And I see Marion has her hand up.
I just wanted to say that I think the ecological value is very important, and that's definitely, you know, something that I hope you can work with your landscape architect for. But I would also say that, you know, given that we are in a city that desperately needs tree cover, actual canopy, that to the extent that you can try to include more species that also have actual canopies that will grow into big trees with real environmental effects, would make a very big difference. I would just ask you to do that. Whatever you end up paying or not paying, it just seems really important that we consider that, as well as the pollinator values.
Marion, that's very good insight. I have a few thoughts, but I'd rather hear your thoughts more.
Is there space for some of these smaller trees to be bigger trees? Or to have more trees than, it looked like there were 3 on the plan? 2 small and 1 medium?
I think there were 4 fast to get ones in the back,
6 trees total.
6,
6
and
trees.
2 small ones in the front. The fast to get hornbeams are not native. They can get up to 20 to 30 feet wide, so they're a wider columnar type. Like they're upright, but not super duper narrow.
Malik, will you take us back, if it's okay with the applicants, take us back to the rendering?
Understood. Boop. 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 You could direct and let me know if I should zoom in, out, right, left, up, down.
Okay. So a few thoughts. I'm just, I'm sharing my own grievances. I'm disappointed with this landscape architect. It's not in all landscape architects' wheelhouse to understand the importance of native plants, but I do see a few invasives there. Rose of Sharon might not be on the invasive species list, but it is on others, especially in Maryland, and we're kind of following suit with the Mid-Atlantic states and miscanthus, like. And then I saw another one that it just blows my mind. So what I would need from you have a significant amount of space, and I see what you're doing with the space and how lovely it will be for you. And I'm telling you, it'll be 1,000 times more lovely once you get these native species in, because the amounts of the butterfly activity you will see and sort of the life that will be generated. So what I would suggest is that for your shrubbery and your herbaceous plants, you really want to hit every moment of the blooming season. Again, this is for your own pleasure as well. So we want to go from Virginia bluebells to asters, the entire, April to October. And so when my advice is to talk with your landscape architect, really encouraging layering, like putting in shrubbery underneath some of these trees. I see that there's mulch around some of these trees, but ultimately what we want to do is to incorporate a natural layer. So you might add some native ferns or some different sedges or grasses or columbines. So really beefing up all the different layers of the landscape and all the different seasons. And I'm a big fan of planting trees and shrubs close together, because what we're going for is canopy, right? And biodiversity. And so, you might think, oh, I just want to plant one oak in my yard and it's going to, I don't know, be big and take up the entire yard. I'd rather plant, I don't know, an oak, a birch, and like a maple or something to have it more. That's just sort of what I've been veering towards. I know it's still kind of new and the aesthetic might be not for everybody, but I would suggest dense planting, again, vertical layers, or horizontal layers, and hitting all the bloom times. And I would also ask, is there space on the property that you're in now to kind of carry over that sort of theme, or add some trees to that property?
Actually, there is a very large stump. Trish mentioned earlier that there was a maple, 120-year-old maple that had to come down a couple years back. That stump is still there and could be removed, and I'm sure we could plant something there.
Yeah, that would be because right now I'm still like, oh, partial exemption. I'd be interested if you could add a few more trees, and they don't have to be big is the thing. They don't have to start out huge, don't buy a $500 tree at the nursery. Get have your again, these are suggestions that your landscaper go to Garden in the Woods and get some nice native trees that are maybe $150 or like $90. And personally, go more dense. And again, I think I've said it 3 times now, just hitting all of your horizontal layers. So I see Vanessa.
Thanks. I just wanted to note, I put a few links in the chat. James, you should check them out. There's a spreadsheet document with native species that we plant commonly in the for mostly street trees. So other species are native that will work in the area. They're just hard to plant for us, but that's a good place to start. This is also shown, what Malik's showing on the screen. There's a link there as well to that. This is the document of like top suggested species with Urban Forestry put together. And then finally, I put a link to our Somerville Pollinator Action Plan, which you can also share with your landscape architect. It has like planting plans, kind of plug and play species combinations that you can use in the toolkit. So that could be helpful to get sort of towards more of the focus on native species and pollinator friendly plantings. I will say also, just one last thing, and then sorry, I'll breathe. Planting trees on an adjacent property does count towards the mitigation of the property itself. So if you are going to be planting, if you can fit and would like to plant trees on the property you're living on now, that would count towards mitigation credit.
Cool, okay. That should be very possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give one last, just one last thought I had. There is a row of the red twig dogwood, which is a very popular shrub to use because it has this sort of these red, stems in the wintertime. And it's pretty and lovely, but personally, if you could do like some chokeberry with the winterberry and adding a few different different types of shrubbery that might have the same, like a winterberry, write this down, winterberry, chokeberry, red twig dogwood, great combo. You find it naturally. The chokeberry is still going to have its, right now they have their little berries still on them, and they're really, really great for migrating songbirds, and they're very tasty. The black chokeberry in particular, it's like extra sweet. I don't know if you can eat them, but I've heard of, anyway, I tried one, it was delicious. So that would be my suggestion, biodiversity, bloom times. And if you can add something to your other property. Vanessa, I didn't know that about this process. Yeah. And Malik, thank you for coming, and to James and,
Patricia, we left. She had a hair thing at 5:15, so she probably dropped.
Okay. Well, I just think it's I appreciate, Malik, you including us, and I appreciate you guys coming here to, I feel like this, I'm so grateful that you would be, considering the switch to native plants, because this is a huge amount of space and potential for biodiversity. So, and Malik, we miss seeing you. So
I appreciate the education. I'm sorry, I appreciate the education on the native species. I hadn't realized importance of that. So absolutely be giving that to the landscape architect.
So are we coming to I want to make sure we have consensus, or if we need to take a vote. Are we saying this can be an exemption with the conditions that we've laid out? Is that where we're leaning, or are we still looking for, is this going to be a partial exemption?
Partial waiver would be the language.
Okay.
Waiver.
Partial waiver. So that means they would still need to pay into?
Well, they will still need to plant.
They still need to plant.
Yeah, so planting is part of the mitigation, but you would opt to take away the monetary mitigation with your partial waiver in exchange for the native plantings and native tree species increases in the plan.
And the planting on the adjacent property.
And the planting on the adjacent property. Yep.
That's my inclinations, but I want to hear from the rest of the committee.
I have one question. Is there any kind of follow-up the city does? Kind of like regardless of like the outcome or recommendation here, like does the city ask folks to come back in like 18 months to attend a meeting, or is it all on the honor system? Like how does the city understand if like how residents are like following through with replantings?
I chase them down after 18 months to 3 years.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I would qualify. I'd like to see this be 90% plus native species. Just really, and no Rose of Sharon, please, and no miscanthus. Like we have really, really great, exciting species. Like that would also be for me part of it. Like I know we can still have, loves of certain plants. Like You have your favorite roses, but I would ask for at least 90% and all the trees and shrubs be native. No, all the trees. If that makes sense. And if you want to go for 100, man, knock your socks off. Show off to your neighbors.
Sounds like a great compromise to me where we're at right now.
Okay. James, does that make sense? Does that feel good?
I appreciate your hearing us. Are you going to formalize that and send it to us, or should I just go from my nose? I heard you say you want 90% or all the trees to be native and planting something on the existing property.
Yep, I think we can write something up.
Cool.
And by we, I mean I can write something up and then I'll share it.
That would be helpful.
I'm also tracking it in the meeting notes, Tori.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a while before you need to plant anything since you have all of this, but just so you know, just as a sort of as a thing to know, we will usually have some plant giveaways, like we'll give away native plant seedlings at least once a year. And there's all sorts of other, like through the Somerville Garden Club, through Mamas, through all sorts of things. There are lots of ways to get a wealth of free native plants and cuttings and stuff. So like you do not have to spend a fortune to make your garden native. There's a lot of really committed native plant enthusiasts. I would probably give you 30 free plants myself just off my little garden if you catch me at the right time of year. But just so you know that this is not about making your life harder. It's just that we are actually working really hard on creating a more biodiverse and more sustainable city.
Yep. Yeah, I appreciate the effort you guys are putting into that. It's super important to us too. Like I say, we've been here 30 years and we're tree enthusiasts as well. And we want the best for the city. So I appreciate you hearing us and being flexible. In terms of practicalities, we need to get a tree permit within the next 30 days. Will this decision be what am I trying to say? When we go to get the permit, will this decision be on the system and visible to whoever's giving the permit, or is it Malik that gives the permit, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I'm going to have to get information from these folks and the formalized information I'm going to have to convert into language that I put into plan review on CitizenServe, and then I will give you your permit with those conditions. And then those conditions have to be met within the certain time frame. But I'm also going to need an updated planting plan from you and your landscape architect, which would reflect what I need changed. So the turnaround time is going to be very important for both parties.
Yeah. Okay. So you want an updated planting plan with what's going to be stipulated in the permit, which is native species for the trees and whatever else we decided on.
Yep, and planting on adjacent property. So I'm going to need a planting plan for that too.
Okay.
Just a quick thing, since this looks like a document for your green score as well. If that's been approved already, you'll just need to have it rechecked that it's still. I'm sure it will be even more. I'm sure it will still meet, but it needs to be approved if the updated plan.
Dorothy, I see your hand.
Yeah, I just had a question for James, if your landscape architect or architect has questions besides the resources that were provided, do we have a go-to person? Is that you, Vanessa, or Malik, or a member of this committee that knows a lot, is an arborist or knows a lot about trees, or a landscape architect? What is there another besides, people may have questions. So I'm just curious to know, is there a go-to person if somebody has questions?
I It's usually PSUP, so if it was tree related, Malik or I.
Yep.
If it's regarding a green score, then it's someone on PSUP, depends who was assigned the case. Which green score includes like this whole planting plan, not just the trees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What, if this is not appropriate, then I from overstepping my bounds, but I'm interested in adding some comments to the landscape plan. Would it be okay, James, with you if Malik shared the plan? That might help.
Sure.
Is that okay, Vanessa? Am I breaking rules? I don't think so.
I think it's a public,
It is,
think
the
it's a
city has,
public document.
the city already has this document, so if
Yeah.
Malik wants to share, that's
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that way, and then we can just kind of, I'll just reformulate what we said here. 100% of the trees being native, 90%, please 90% shrubbery, herbaceous plants, and then some pointers. And then if you need more information, going back to PSUF, Vanessa and Malik. So
And
And
Tori, you can send the comments to Malik. Malik makes the ultimate call here, so it's really through Malik, but I'm sure Malik would be happy to share your comments directly with James, but the permit conditions come through Malik.
okay, so to Malik. Okay.
And
Okay.
without wanting to be cynical, but just be careful. I say this as a resident and as a, be careful to make sure that whatever ends up in the approved plan is actually what gets planted. My next door neighbors had a lovely plan. And everything was approved, everything was proper. And then when the actual trees got planted, the varieties got swapped out.
Yeah.
The wrong kinds of trees got put in. And as a result of that, those trees ended up being taken out. So that property just ended up with fewer trees because the wrong things were put in and it became like essential to take them out. So just plan to watch them like a hawk, unfortunately.
Yeah. Good to know. Thank you.
All right. Great thoughts, everybody. I'm so proud to serve with such a engaged committee. Malik will be in touch. James, thank you. Best of luck, and I'll look forward to communication and happy for you. And
I appreciate all your time. Nice to meet everybody. And we will be in touch shortly. Thank you.
excellent.
Have a good rest of your day. Thanks.
You as well. Okay, good job, everybody. So now what we're going to do is to go into public comment. And I see that it's 5:30. So, all right. So public comment. Does anyone here have any resident concerns? Let's start with non-board members. Committee members, rather.
I just say,
And-
Malik, can you stop sharing your screen?
And how are things in Cobble Hill?
We're having an Arbor Day celebration and putting tags on all the trees that residents have made signs about how they love the trees. And those are going to be put on the trees, and they're going to be in the significant area. I mean, the endangered area.
Yeah.
So that's the plan for Arbor Day at Cobble Hill. And you're invited if you'd like to come.
Yes, this is so exciting. When is it?
When is Arbor Day? I don't know.
I think it's Friday after our birthday, the 25th, maybe.
Yep.
Cool.
If you would like us to spread the word, let us know.
I think it'd be great
Ooh.
if you'd spread the
Sorry,
word. Yes.
can I ask, are we like nailing something into the tree?
we're putting, we're not nailing into the trees, we're putting bands around the trees.
So,
That sounds
okay,
exciting.
well, and if you want to send myself or Vanessa some information,
Okay, I will do that.
we can share
I
with our
think,
network.
I think that would be really wonderful. Yes,
Okay.
because the more people who come, the better it is.
Yes, yes. And Lee too, share with Lee.
Okay,
Okay.
I will.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anne. Okay. Do any committee members have resident concerns? Anything going on in your neighborhoods?
Is that Kella, the hand up?
This isn't a
Kala.
resident, this is not a resident concern. I just wanted to clarify that I chose to abstain from the conversation from before because Ms. Murphy is a administrator at my school, and I just, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Very, very good job adhering to potential conflicts of interest. Way to set the example.
Yep.
Okay, going on. Somerville MVP grant project, letter of support. Do tell, did I put this on there? I don't think I did.
Sorry,
Vanessa.
I was typing and not paying attention. Yes, that is me. Thank you. So the city is applying for an MVP grant, which stands for something important.
Massachusetts vulnerability preparedness.
Thank you. It's a grant through the state. And the project idea we are presenting is it's called Green and Cool Somerville. So we all know that we have a very challenging place to plant trees, especially narrow sidewalks for our street trees. And there are certain sidewalks that are so narrow that we can't plant trees at all, let alone the normal sidewalks that are 6 feet that are tough places for trees to live, but some we can't plant at all. And there's other challenges we face. So we are proposing to do a sort of big planning study to try to look at all of the possible options we could employ to be able to plant more trees in more places. So that's the sort of first part of the grant, and then also with the information that we gather from that planning document, match that with streets that we're reconstructing with our streetscape reconstruction plans that engineering deals with every year. Choose some streets to employ some of those tactics and see which ones work well, and we can sort of build into future processes. So we are looking for support for our project with community members. We're trying to get some community groups involved, and also would love to have the support of the Urban Forestry Committee. I have a draft letter of support we can review. I meant to send this out before, but did not. We would need to vote on it today because the grant is due April 4th. So I should have been sharing this the whole time I was talking, but here we are. Where is it? Yeah, I have so much open right now. Hold on, where is it? The main place we would look for support is sort of idea gathering and informational interviews at the beginning part, and trying to see if there's challenges that you guys think of that we haven't thought of or would like to stress. So potentially meeting with consultant team, and then helping with outreach. I will open this, promise. Here we go. I'll do this version.
And sorry, would this be a federal grant?
It's not. I checked
okay.
also. Yeah.
So take all the DEI out of
I
it.
know. Yeah, right. No, it's a state grant. Urban Forestry Committee. This must be it. Share. Okay. So I have a draft letter that I can put on letterhead if we approve it. Why don't I give you a few? Can you guys all see this? Well, I can zoom in if you'd like, or I can read it out loud, but
That seems fine.
okay.
Can you scroll down a little?
Mhm.
Maybe I can't,
Yeah, well,
What kinds of new
yeah.
innovative methods are you thinking?
Hopefully some that we haven't heard of yet. We are aware of like Silvacells, which are great, but very expensive and take a lot of effort to install. People sometimes use structural soil, but I am on the fence and leaning towards not liking it because it provides very little nutrients for the trees. So they don't have the compaction issues, but they do have no nutrients to live in. So they tend to not look good over the long run. And those are the main ones I am aware of that are employed in sidewalks. Could be replacing all the soil. We've talked about other cities doing like in-street plantings. I think that's going to be a huge challenge here, but would love to learn more about that and a potential application here, like a curb. I mean, we do curb extensions around existing trees, but removing parking and somehow planting a tree in the street. I don't know how that would work exactly, but it's something we've considered. Hopefully there are other things that I haven't thought of that I don't know about.
well, the tree trenches, right?
What do you mean by tree trench?
Tree trench, like,
different
I
things.
feel like there was an example at one time in front of Quincy Street where there was like a long, like there were
yeah.
3 trees planted
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a long
There's so
strip.
many.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
It seemed so long at the time, but it's like 3 by 12. I have pits that long now. So
Oh, you mean that's just called a tree pit now?
yeah. But there is another one on Lowell that's like so long I put 2 cherry trees in. So yeah,
Okay.
that's another idea. Mhm.
I think that would be cool. I know when I was in Canada this summer, I noticed that they seemed like they had very young trees that were planted really close together. So it kind of seemed like they were experimenting with planting more close together.
Mhm. Yeah. Cambridge is planting big growing trees really close together. So I don't know. But
I
that
also
won't help us
remember.
plant on a narrow sidewalk. Sorry, Cal,
Oh,
go ahead.
oh no, it's fine. I remember like this was kind of a while ago, but we had like these like a few tree pits, and they had like pollinator gardens in the tree pits. Is that also something?
Yeah, potentially. We want to include in this like some non-tree vegetation options. So if a sidewalk is really too narrow and we really can't plant a tree, we have like 5-foot sidewalks, some that are like 2 feet. So we definitely can't plant anything, but I don't know, some sort of climbing structure for a climbing plant, or I don't know how we would maintain this, but that's for a consultant team to try to think through, or just like a small narrow pollinator strip instead of a tree. It still can help pollinators and also, absorbing pollution and blah, blah, blah. So there's benefits to non-tree vegetation option too.
I'm definitely in support of us experimenting with innovative ways to plant more trees. So I'm all for this. I think it looks very well written.
Yeah, same here. I think it's awesome idea.
Does anyone have any tweaks to the letter that they'd like to recommend? Or
Pedantic English editor.
Go for it.
Composed of.
Oh, here?
Comprising. One of the two,
Okay.
but it's like you are composed of multiple parts, or you comprise those multiple parts.
Okay, great.
Oh, I'm also wondering, are there any obligations? Because there's like, isn't there there was some bill that a lot of cities are trying to encourage Massachusetts to pass to have more funds for like the urban forestry. But I talking to Newton, they were like, we don't want obligations on us. And so they weren't sure whether they would sign up for it
Hmm.
if it was forced. And so I
Yeah.
don't know if like getting this grant would then force Somerville into boxes that we wouldn't want to be in.
I don't think having this grant would, but if that bill gets passed, I still don't think, the way I read the bill was that cities could opt into it. But if you do opt into it, there were a lot of things you had to do. But they also seemed like not as forceful as forcing. Like there was, you need to try to plant native plants, but it to me didn't read you have to only plant native plants. And having strings attached to some money to me doesn't mean that strings would be attached to all money. So even if that bill does pass and cities get money through that bill to use it for certain things that the bill covers, to me, we can still have other money that we use to do other things. So I think the short answer is no, I don't think it should tie our hands in any way at this point.
I would speak in favor of it, the mass reforestation bill, in the sense that, I mean, Somerville is going above and beyond the vast majority of municipalities. I think that bill would be very, very helpful and beneficial for municipalities who are, I don't know what term to use to describe them, but are not, to say it that, are not doing anywhere near enough, and for whatever reason don't appreciate and understand the importance of this. So unfortunately, even if there are strings attached, some communities need the stick as opposed to the carrot. So I don't know, just my 2 cents.
I feel like that bill was both. It wasn't really a stick because it wasn't, you applied to be part of it. And a lot of cities aren't doing what we're doing or what Cambridge is doing because they just don't have the money. They have no money. They have like zero money for any tree work, and they put a tree warden position attached to some other role. Because they have to have a tree warden, but they have no money to do it. So in some cases, it may be that they don't have the education and know, but in many other cases, it's just they don't have the funding to fund it. So they don't even think about it.
Doris, I see.
Sorry.
Doris, you have your hand raised. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is an awesome project. I'm excited to see how it goes. I think it'll be super transferable to communities that don't have the money. And I know there is an MVP grant going on right now with Cambridge and the Mystic River watershed that's looking to create a coalition of tree wardens across the Mystic River. I don't know about it anymore because I wrote the grant and then quit the job.
Oh.
And so I was involved with that, but I'm not anymore. But I have written like 30 MVP grants in the last few years, so I'm super familiar with the process. But I'm curious, I know the MVP scores higher when you allocate a portion of the grant funds to like either community organizations or disadvantaged communities. I'm curious if there's any amount of funding going to any of those groups, or if you can speak to it. Because usually those can be pretty interesting and involve groups like ours sometimes.
Yeah, we're hoping to have community partnerships with the Mystic River Watershed Association, ideally the Charles River Watershed Association, although I haven't reached out to them yet, and Groundwork Somerville. So our idea is that those organizations would be involved to some extent in like data gathering and providing information, and being a part of interviews, but also with community outreach, particularly Groundwork Somerville with community outreach activities environmental justice outreach and like buy-in is a huge part of that. And I'm hoping actually that UFC can help with that as well, with our ties and potentially the resident ambassadors. So Allie, we will talk later. Based on, you know, networks that you all already have and can tap into. We want to do that. I do see this as like a really, like it's a planning project with a design of a pilot. And then we're hoping to in next year apply for a much bigger MVP grant that would actually fund the construction of that. And I see some role of you know, EJ communities in that as well, and sort of at least, yeah, actually I haven't thought about that very much, but hoping to have some input in the like, how do we decide which streets to do the pilots in, and like, here's how it's going. So yes, it's a little challenging for a planning project that we already know what the problem is, to know exactly how to get a lot of input from different groups, but we're gonna see if there's something we're missing, for sure, and tie that in.
Vanessa, you wrote this, right, Vanessa?
I did not. Our grants department wrote it.
Oh, the grants department. Okay. A few thoughts. Could we just highlight a few of our, you know, we're not just, our commitment isn't a vague thing. You know, we have the native planting ordinance, we have the Somerville pollinator action plan, we have the pollinator gardens, very involved community who's participated in the Adopt a Tree program. Like, you know, maybe just those are sort of 4 concrete things. The tree preservation ordinance, I don't know, it doesn't have to be extensive, but something to kind of make the wording a little more specific, because we are awesome and have worked hard on those things. And you know, we have you. And
would it be like here to put in a sentence of some of
the examples?
But is this the location, like after what we're
committees
tasked
to
on doing?
advise.
And then what
We are
have
proud
done?
to proud of the work we have accomplished in our commitment to trees with the tree preservation ordinance, native planting ordinance, publishing our Somerville pollinator action plan, and establishing a Adopt a Tree program, which was then picked up by Boston, something like that.
We should probably spell out TPO, NPO.
I know, I'm just, I couldn't think and
Yeah,
write
yeah.
at the same
Those are
time.
long.
I'll do SPAP too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have us, you know. Oh, right. This is coming from us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be a competitive grant? Like,
I hope so. We're doing everything we can. Yeah,
I mean,
Doris, do you think it's going to be competitive?
I think it's a grant that I would have written, and all my grants got funded. So I think it'll be great.
Wow, Doris, you got 30 grants funded? Dang.
We did a lot of grant work. It was exhausting.
That's a lot. I can't spell commitment.
Doris, where was that? What group was that you were with?
It was at a consulting firm called Weston and Sampson.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm familiar with them a little bit in the brewing industry. They do a lot of wastewater consulting.
Yeah, they do. Yep. Yeah, they did the Lawsons.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other big ones.
That wording sound good, everyone? Do you want to add anything else?
Accomplished
Or
in our
memos,
community.
these documents.
I mean, we do all the things.
We do a lot of things.
That seems good. I think that does lend a lot more credibility to the group.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instructing durable.
I could add something like we have ties to community, we have, as a diverse group, we have networks throughout the city, including in environmental justice communities, and we're excited to share this project with them or something. Oh, we are
Yeah,
a diverse community.
we have expansive networks, expansive volunteer networks, really, right, across Somerville. And I mean, Garden Club, right? Green and Open, Earthwise Aware, Growing Center. We have CALA.
Whole high school.
We got the high school.
Expansive, you said something, networks.
Oh,
Volunteer.
expansive volunteer.
Oh yeah, volunteer.
Networks dedicated to, you know, increasing our green spaces, connection to nature and biodiversity, something. Yeah, because we're a biodiverse community, not just, I mean, in so many ways, right?
Right.
Oh, we
I
also
might
have the
tweak just
Milwaukee
the
forest.
wording.
Oh yeah, we got the Milwaukee.
That's really like dense planting.
Up here, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read through this when I'm not on camera and make sure that the sentences, positions make sense, but the content will not change.
Thank you.
Anyone-
Capitalize, just uncapitalize the word city in that.
Yeah, it doesn't like
there.
that. Thank you.
Yep. And after connection to nature, period, take out the and, we are excited to share this project. Sounds.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Motion to approve signing the letter?
I can second that motion.
Seconded by Calla.
Yay. Roll call vote.
Vanessa.
Yay.
Do I say Doris and Doris?
Yay.
Calla.
Yay.
Marion.
Yay.
Do we have you back yet?
Well, I guess whenever I'm back, I count. So yay.
Okay. Dorothy.
Yay.
Michael.
Yay.
Corey. Yay. Okay. Well done.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. Next up, updates from the city.
Yes. Okay, city tree removals. I sent out a spreadsheet earlier this week because I realized I don't know if you guys know about the ones that are happening. So, probably the bigger ones that you may have heard about. I know Michael heard about the one on Greenville. There was a bunch of sawhorses about tree work, and people thought that all the trees were getting removed, but they were not. It was just one. And it was an ash tree that was dying and probably has emerald ash borer. The other one you may have heard of or may hear about is on North Street. There was a very large Zelkova that needed to be removed. It had a split down the trunk. We
Yeah.
call it a crotch split. It had an old wound, but it was reopening and closing and reopening. So it was just a very dangerous situation where at any time the tree could, as Malik would say, split like a banana. So that had to be removed. I don't expect any other new removals except potentially one on Willow. There's a very large tree that is pushing on a power line. It sparked during the rainstorm and caused a power outage. So I'm going to go look at it tomorrow, but I will let you know if we need to take it down. It's going to be a big one.
Wow.
And if there's other ones that come up, I will let you know. Any questions on any of those trees?
Okay. I will say I was on Greenville when our tree crew were there and flagged them down. I said, are you our tree crew? And they were, and two very nice young men. He had a piece of the ash and it had the holes, and I asked if I could have it for tabling, but he said he's had to ask you.
Oh, he forgot to ask me.
Okay. Because I was almost like took it from his hands and it was perfect, like, oh, this is exactly how it looks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't think we would be transporting the emerald ash borer in that first layer of, I mean, I don't.
Is it just a piece of the bark?
It's just a piece of the bark with the holes.
Yeah, that should be fine.
But
as long as it wasn't like a whole section of the limb.
Yeah, it was just a
piece of bark.
If you talk to him,
yeah, okay.
Maybe
if
we
he
can grab
saved
that.
it, yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
that would be amazing.
Yeah. But what wonderful people, compassionate.
Yeah.
Didn't like run away when they saw this like white woman approaching. Anyway, I just said thank you to them and I might have spoken on our behalf. Like, so awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep moving along in updates since we're got a lot more to talk about. Okay,
yeah.
Private tree removal permits and exemptions. Well, since we have Malik here, I'm gonna let him do that.
Well, before we get to that, is PTHP on the agenda?
It is not.
All right, so
I forgot.
We currently have our Parks Tree Health program going on right now. And in this iteration, we are doing 10 parks. All the information is online, but we did Quincy today, and we do have tree removals of note that are happening between, well, this week and Tuesday, and it is West Branch Library, our Norway maple that we cabled and cared for a while. It unfortunately has reached a time where it has to go. It is no longer stable enough to keep. Our 32-inch Norway maple will say goodbye.
Yeah.
I believe Friday. Yes. So, and then also on the 25th, we are going to be doing tree work in Luann David Park. And there is a scraggly Acer Nugundo box elder by the electrical box that we were supposed to get rid of a while ago. That was heavily declined, so that's just gonna go, and then hopefully some nice shrubs will take its place in the future. And that's all of note for the time being.
Well, I like this tree health program. When you said the Norway was coming down, tomorrow, Friday, you mean?
Yes, tomorrow, Friday.
Okay. There's a sign on it. People know about it.
Yeah, there's a sign on it. email went out to some urban forestry personnel, and it was disseminated to abutters.
Yeah.
So it was advertised.
Okay. So they can
It's-
say goodbye. Was
Yeah,
like,
they could say goodbye, and
Yeah.
everyone nearby definitely knows about it.
Yeah.
Is kind of relieved. The exact neighbors, because in the times it's been dropping a few branches, it became worrisome for them. So it's time.
Yep. I'm really happy you're doing this, and I'm glad that like the schedule's on. Well, I guess you have to say if you're closing a park.
Yep, the schedule is definitely online.
The schedule's online.
Yep.
I just shared the link in the
Yeah.
chat, and the schedule is there for anyone who wants to see.
Cool.
Yeah, more information will go up.
And Malik, is this work that that's being done with the tree crew?
Oh no, this is being done with I believe we have Barrett again this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. And they do the tree work, and Wagon Wheels doing the tree planting.
Yes.
Okay.
And then also they're Wagon Wheels doing our young tree training this year. So you'll see them out in about a month or so.
Okay. All right. Does that
see
Yeah.
going back to
wrap up of the city tree removals. Do you want to move on to the private tree part now?
Yes, let's do this. Okay.
Yeah, let's
Thank
do
you.
that.
Private tree
All right.
removals. Thank you.
Okay, so let me get my list here, which I swear I just had open. I have 1,000,001 windows open. Bear with me, please.
Take your
There we
time.
go. Okay, so here in this year we have a few cases that are pending still. I believe 20 Kent Court is 2 tree removals, but they both were discovered to be ailanthus, so they're actually exempt. So I just went ahead and issued that permit. So that's actually issued.
Oh, did we give them guidance on how to cut it down?
I did not,
We
unfortunately.
really should. Yeah, because that could cause
some sprouting.
lawns.
Well, hopefully they remove the entire stump.
Well, you have to poison the stump as soon, like within 10 minutes of cutting it. Or
Within
actually,
10
sorry. If
minutes?
it's really big, you're supposed to inject it in multiple places before it comes down. And then when it comes down, you're supposed to like cover the top of it to prevent it from spreading.
Do you have that information on?
Yeah, I think we did just finalize that guidance.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think I shared it with you, Malik.
All right.
I will get it to you.
All right, I'll send that in the future to anyone who removes an ailanthus.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks, Allie.
And yeah, thank you for that.
Like, I'm sharing the screen. Should I do the permits or exemptions?
Let's do the
You wanna-
permits.
Okay.
Even though that did count as an exemption also, I just didn't throw that in the list because I threw them both in the permit part because it was already on file. So that would be an exemption.
Okay.
Yep. And then let's see. So what else? Harrison would be a case in which they wanted to remove about 5 trees, and I'm waiting for their arborist report because they said all their trees were sick in one way or another. So I'm just gonna get more proof from an arborist. I spoke to him today and he's gonna get me everything. And it looks like that would end up being a condition-based waiver in which all the trees would be sick or no longer viable. And so the homeowner would be able to remove all of them. So there's that. Kent Court, White Street Place is a property that removed trees in the past, and they want to remove 2 more trees, which are 2 sycamore maples and 1 American elm. And I believe the American elm might be, I don't know, 20 inches in diameter. So he's probably gonna have, most likely gonna have to pay for mitigation for the one American elm. So that case is still pending. Let's see. And the others are still, if it hasn't been issued, it's still being removed. Dover needs to get back to me with more information because they won't get an owner occupancy waiver, so they need to pay mitigation for any trees that they plan on removing. And that's more or less it for the permit applications for this year. And then for the exemptions, a lot haven't come through, but let me double check and make sure I haven't missed any more to be added to the list. Exemption. Okay, so there is 25 Ivory Street, which I just gave an exemption for a tree that is very dead on the corner of 25 Ivory Street as you get that turn. Then there was 40 Tower Street, Norway Maple. So that was removed around March 10th. That's going to be added to the list. And that should be our most recent ones. Yep, wait a second. Yep, 25 Ivaloo. And 40 Tower Street. And let's see. That's different. That's different. That's language. And that is all I have for March. Oh wait, let me see. 15 Wesley Street. I have, which is a hazardous tree. And that was, yeah, that was a hazard tree. And that should be it. And the last one on there is 29 Central. So we are up to date.
Thank you, Malik, for that report. In the notes, I see sometimes the tree species is mentioned and sometimes it's not.
Mhm.
If you have that information, if you have the species information, that would be helpful
All
for
right,
me. And I mean, to add that to the notes.
that works.
And thank you for your fastidiousness. And I want you back on the committee. Breck is gone. Okay. Any questions to the committee on Malik's report? Okay. Moving along. Okay, I'm just noticing the time at 6:07. Okay, to go out of order, Vanessa, do you have can you give us a update on the spring tree planting?
Yeah. Wagon Wheel is our planting contractor. That contract's getting set up. In the meantime, I've been working on finding some good places to plant trees in parks with our Mystic River Watershed Association grants. So I've found, I think, 5 parks I'm going to plant 53 trees in. They're bare root trees that are coming at the end of April. We're going to do volunteer planting days. So when we have actual dates, I will send those out. But I'm excited. We're going to fill in more trees in Conway, Lincoln, Zero New Washington.
Nice.
Put some trees in Concord Square. There's not enough there. And some other places that are not. A couple more in Symphony Park.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the big ones. So I'm excited for that. Should be fun. Bare root trees need to go in the ground within like a week or so. So we're gonna have to do like planting bonanza.
Okay. Okay. We will get folks.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to skip the UFC overview startup questions. I don't think species selection and planting protocol has anything. I want someone right now, Michael, just go quick and see if there are any urban forestry related job postings. If you can do that, just because the two things I do want to get to would be the tree preservation ordinance and the private development tree damage because they're related. We'll skip the neonicotinoids. And well, is Somerville, is Arbor Day going to be before our next meeting?
Well, we could do it and do bare root tree planting and do like mix it up. If we wanted to do it on normal National Arbor Day this year, we could, the 25th.
So that would be,
or we could not and do it something else.
okay, sorry, our next meeting is the 17th.
Yeah.
So
I need to
Tori,
promote it and stuff, so we need to know.
Tori, we have also at least one thing that the outreach subcommittee would like to ask for approval.
Let's
final
do that.
approval.
Let's go. We're going to out of order to outreach right now.
Okay. So I need to be able to share my screen. And I think we can do the rest of the stuff at the next meeting. But we've been very active. It's great. But what we want to do is, Leia's not here, but she did do, based on the comments from the last meeting, she did finalize this, and we talked about it at our subcommittee meeting. We all liked it, and so we wanted to bring it here to this committee before placing an order. And Vanessa, in the interest of time, I will email you and Leia separately about the logistics on that, so we don't have to take up time at this meeting to do that. So I guess the questions are, does this look good for folks? I think we decided we're going to order 2. We went with the middle, I think we call it a runner kind of thing, because it's easier to fit different sizes of tables. And we got rid of Leia got rid of the things that were on top and kind of beefed up the tree aspect of it to make it really clear that, we're about trees and keep it simple. Does anybody else on the committee want to please add something in if I've forgotten something or did not articulate it quite like in the right way?
Looks
I think
great.
that covers it pretty well. Yeah.
Great. Okay, does anybody so is that fine then if we move ahead and get those ready so that we can start outreach, which may be, depending on some things that we're researching, maybe sooner than we thought.
I have just one thought. It's beautiful, by the way. Well done. Is it possible to add a few animals? Is it possible to add like a bird flying or
so that was, Leah took that into consideration. And then there was always the question of which birds, which insects, if we had people, how many different people do we need to have the diversity? And so it just, in the end, it seemed easier to keep it uncluttered and simple in terms of conveying the message of like, it's just so people see it and are like, come to the table.
Okay.
But yeah, we did go back. That was a conversation.
You had that conversation, right? Because
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like forest. Oh, we have, anyway.
Yeah, it was just like, where do you stop and what is the purpose of this? And how do you make it simple and legible and gets the message across?
Yep.
Good question though.
That
Okay,
looks really good to me.
excellent.
Uh, uh, I hear a motion from Vanessa.
Yeah,
to-
motion to approve that tablecloth as our tablecloth for events.
Second,
Seconded.
All in favor?
yay.
Everyone, everyone says yes, and good job.
Okay, thank you all. And at the next meeting, we want to be sure we have plenty of time to talk about all the wonderful things that we're doing.
Yes. Oh, okay. And there's also an event at the Growing Center that we might be interested in.
Yeah, we did talk about that on the Earth Day event that we might have an opportunity to table. So I'm gonna look into that with Growing Center and Groundwork Somerville.
Okay, awesome. Okay, anyone find or urban forestry related jobs and postings?
I just did a
RFPs?
quick browse of the website and I didn't see any Somerville job postings there.
Okay, check the RFPs if you would, Michael, if you haven't.
I don't know
I'm
how to
doing
do
this.
that. Sorry.
Okay, and Kala, let's do our report on the most wanted weeds. Kala and I and Leah met and we're working on an updated document.
It's basically almost done, and then when it is, I'll have everyone look over it and make sure everyone's good with it. And yeah, it's almost done.
Okay, I have pictures to that. I'm delinquent on that matter. Okay, thank you, Kala, for leading that charge. Okay, what I'd like to do now is to try to let's go back to private development tree damage. And this is regarding something very specific that happened. A developer injured a tree on a neighboring property, and this is where I'm going to need you, Vanessa, that there were supposedly protections in place or an agreement that this tree would be protected, and it was that agreement was blatantly ignored and damage was done and to the tree and to the property, but let's just stick to the tree. And the question is, what happens in these situations where a developer is so negligent to cause such damage to a tree and really doesn't seem to care? Like, so Vanessa, will you perhaps summarize in a...
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's a huge silver maple tree that's gorgeous and huge. So it's old, obviously. That is like right on the edge of a property. So the trunk is only on, one property, and then almost when that trunk ends, but maybe there's a foot. I don't know. I haven't actually seen it, but it's entirely on one property, and the property next to that tree is getting redeveloped. The developer had to remove a garage and a house to be able to, put new stuff in. So in the demolition permit that they needed, I put in conditions that the tree had to be preserved, that they were supposed to put up a tree protection fence around the entire drip line of the tree, and do all the work by hand inside that fence, if at all, what they had to, because the garage was inside the fence, inside the drip line of the tree. Yeah. So my role is to put like conditions on stuff, but not to.
Can you guys, oh, sorry. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys see that? I shared my
Kind of.
screen.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is them doing very gentle handwork around the tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they did not follow that condition. Obviously, that's the first I'm seeing of that. I didn't see that video. But technically, a tree, like in our tree preservation ordinance, the rules are you have to have a tree permit if you're going to remove a tree, and removal includes doing enough damage to a tree that it would cause it to die, and that includes excessive pruning. So although I put conditions on the permit, it's hard to be able to actually enforce them because a property has a right to do things on their own property, and parts of the tree overhang that property and are underneath the property. But a property owner owns all the airspace and the soil space above and below the property.
Yes.
So they did not regard my conditions, but what we can do about it, I don't know. If they damaged the tree so much that it died, maybe we could make the actual tree owner have a permit, get a permit to remove the tree. I don't know. It's a weird
It's very weird
situation.
because this becomes a legal dispute among two property owners versus being involved with the city at this point. So it's a very gray area, strange situation. So essentially, they could sue them, but we can't step in and say, hey, you guys need to do this because of this, unless they were getting rid of their own trees specifically, because there's nothing in the ordinance that says specifically that.
Which begs the question, how can the ordinance be tweaked to protect trees on neighboring properties when damage is done to them? I mean, let's say it
think
was a
that's-
utility. Let's say it was a water main. Let's say it was some sort of utility that they damaged.
But that's probably why people are able to sue each other and keep the city from getting involved in private property matters.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's tricky. I think that there's a utility related lawsuit with Donald Trump where he broke someone's water main or something, one of his properties, and they don't have any water. He's supposed to fix it, but he just doesn't. And what are you going to do? So I think that's not something we can put in an ordinance, like that you can't do something on a property because there's a tree that someone else put there. Our legal department would not go forth with that because there's property owner rights. Like each property owner has rights. The property owner of the now empty property has a right to develop things on their property. It's their property. And the person with the tree has a right to have a tree, but unfortunately parts of the tree are encroaching on the neighbor's property. So, and when the neighbor does stuff on their own property, they're gonna harm that tree. It's like a weird, it's hard. But yeah, I feel like the city can't fight that battle for them, I think.
In this particular case, though, I mean, it is very much a David and Goliath situation. A very, very, like, there is no way that, an individual person can go against one of the biggest developers in the city. And is there at the very least, like, I mean, does the fact that they blatantly violated their, their agreement with you put them in it, like what happens when people just break the rules? Like, shouldn't there be some kind of punishment, some kind of like plain out fine? Like, you did this and we caught, like, it's like documented that you violated this. There's a $10,000 fine just for that. Because it seems to me like it should be.
I don't know what the fine structure is for not following conditions. I imagine that they would make sure that the conditions were legal to put on, and I don't know that mine actually were enforceable. I thought they were when I put them on, but now that they were ignored, I'm not sure that they were allowed. Still gonna keep putting them on anyways and hope that nobody notices that they may not have to follow them. But
did they say anything? Like, have you confronted them?
They know that they know that the neighbor is mad. The developer is North America Development, I think. Their signs are everywhere. The
if
neighbors
there's
definitely talked to them. ISD has talked to them. I don't know who else. ISD
if
is the
there's a
one who
chance that
enforces
not
stuff.
following like stipulations, like if that's still a maybe, that feels like a first course of action is like, can the city, like, would this be on you, Vanessa, or the city to figure out, like, you asked them to do something, it seems like clear evidence they didn't do it. What's like, is there enforcement there or not? It sounds like
That
we don't know for sure, but that's like the first, but maybe like a nice question to answer first.
I know that our director of ISD is very aware of this situation and knows of what the developer did and didn't follow, and he knows how to enforce stuff. So if he had any questions for me, I would happily answer them, but he can see the conditions I put on. So
Have you asked them to like enforce or like directly ask them like, what can we do about this? Or do you get the sense that they're just very aware and choosing not to?
they had a meeting with the ISD director, and the mayor had a meeting with the owner of the tree and some other folks in the neighborhood. So they're very aware of the situation. I do need to follow up with them because I'm now reviewing the green score documents for that property, and they want to put a cottage right under the tree. Like, it will kill the tree unless they can somehow build it and not dig into the ground at all and make it short enough that I won't have to cut the branches off. I don't know if I can deny that or not. I don't know legally if they're following the letter of the law and the zoning code and state law. I don't know if I'm allowed to deny it. I don't know. So
One
I
thing
will be talking to them.
yeah, that's interesting and sounds complicated. One
I
thing I
mean,
wanted
these
to
are
raise just before Tori goes is, Tori, I'd asked
before.
you before, like, I have a hard stop at 1:30 per usual, but I think one thing I still want to revisit is the updated ordinance amendments. It seems like we're not going to get to that tonight, but I think if we have questions about enforceability and the status of our ability to act on those things, I think that's a great thing to revisit in one of our meetings.
Okay, so you do for 5 minutes, do you want to go for some broad strokes of the
I don't
TPO?
mind pushing to next month. No, it's a-okay. That's like a big
A little
topic to get
time
into.
sensitive,
Yeah.
actually.
So tell me, it's going to city council.
Yeah, I'm planning to submit it tomorrow for city
Oh, great.
council
My
next week.
question was just like, what's the status? Is it moving through?
Yeah,
So that's great.
I've worked on it for a long time with our legal department, and checked with ISD and engineering department, and the city council's legislative person has read it most recently. So what we're expecting.
So
a lot of the
exciting.
background is done so that the next process should go faster, but pending city council
So
discussion.
just broad strokes. So our suggestion of 10, what was it? Instead of owner exemptions, that it would be
Reduced. Yeah.
reduced. I mean, is that
10%?
did that
That's
get
still in
there?
there. Yep.
Okay, what were
Basically everything's in there. It was just reworded to be more enforceable and legal, and
Okay.
certain things that were in there had to be removed, like putting a stop work order is not an enforceable thing. We can't do it, so we removed strike it. But other than that, like the spirit of all of the amendments that we talked about, a year plus ago now, are in there. It's the
Okay.
wording and the like order and like enforcement abilities. So the additions are tree protections for private trees are more clearly in there, including requirements to protect trees during construction, including if you're doing construction on public property or on private property. We added the same duty of care clause, so that if you have a significant tree on your property and you're doing construction, you have to protect it. What else? Those are like big new things. We still have the like change to the youth members being during the academic year. We stayed, kept the wording of Ilanthus in a different position, but the spirit's the same, like exactly how we had it. We did the reduction of 90% in the waiver of 90% for the homeowner occupant. And then little tweaks here and there just to make it make more sense.
But there's just like no way we can when it's like you can do like we can put protections in for damage done to trees on people's own property, but there's nothing for when you do what you got. I mean, that whatever machine crane was just digging straight down into those roots, like, so there's no protections on
No.
regarding damage to another's.
No.
Oh God, that just,
The
this
next
guy's a real
fight,
bad actor.
I mean,
just
if
gotta
somebody
say.
wants to take them to court, it's, you know, but it's the David and the Goliath, but just like any other property damage. That's how it
well,
works.
thanks,
Yeah, I
Vanessa,
know
for
you gotta go,
shepherding that
Michael.
through.
But is there any, for someone who's such a bad actor like this, is there any punitive, like years ago we got, I forget the people who did Beacon, they got like a mark on their record. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, is there any?
There's the Better Business Bureau.
Like,
There's
how do they
editorials
get
and public
negative?
shaming.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Editorials, Better Bureau, they're looking for investors.
if being a
Mhm,
bad
people who
actor
invest in
were
people.
enough to stop them, they would have been stopped a long time ago because they've been acting badly in the city in a variety of ways for a long
Yeah.
time. Seems to me like we need to figure out different ways to hold them accountable because they're too big. Nobody can possibly beat them in court.
Vanessa, would the city be opposed if I don't know, something like the Better Business Bureau, if not that'd be a legal conflict if we, like, the committee wrote something to them on complaining about North American development?
I don't think so. If we want to do it as a committee, then we have to vote. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay.
We might
Still
have just
forced.
dropped below quorum. Did we just drop below?
If Malik's counting as our tree warden.
Yep, Malik, you're in.
deputy, then
You're
we're
on.
good. I think
But
it would
there
be
might
fine
be-
because we have the right as the committee to review plans and stuff.
Okay.
So it's even.
Well, it might be that, or it might be some, I'm not sure what, at the state level, there might be also an office that, I don't know if any of this is an effective idea or not, but if we want to do something and we feel powerless in other ways, it might be one thing to do.
Well, if anyone wants to take a visit out there, I'm around this weekend. I told Denise I'd come by, the property owner. I mean, to see firsthand. I mean, I'd sign something if we did some sort of editorial or, okay. Sorry, I don't know if we're gonna be able to, what we can resolve right now, except sharing in anger about this. It's important just to be witnessed. It is 6:32. There was, I believe, an RFP item that Michael put in the chat.
Yeah, there's one, the ash tree treatment.
Okay, all right.
I saw another one for citywide plants and flowers, an IFB.
Oh, really?
From
Is that,
DPW.
those are the geraniums and mums?
I don't know. Let's see. I didn't read it. It said plants. So
Okay. Well, maybe I'll look into that.
probably get a vendor or something.
Yeah, yeah.
We should have the job for the tree warden posted sometime soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Are there any positions in PSUF? Oh, no. Oh,
No, we're full.
never mind. Tree warden, Brett.
Yeah. Yeah, Breck. Yeah.
Okay. What I would like to do right now is, unless I miss something, I would personally entertain a motion to adjourn and leave the minutes till next week. I mean,
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah, totally.
Does anyone care?
No.
And
Right.
I've been talking to Naima Said, so I'm gonna be sort of brainstorming her with the tree preservation ordinance. So if anyone is interested in following that fun legal journey, it's going to be happening this next month. So reach out to me if you want to be involved in it. Thank you, Vanessa, for that work. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Dorothy, did I hear a motion?
Sure, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting on March 20th, 2025.
Okay.
Second.
Seconded. All right. All in favor? Thank you, everybody. We did
Thank
it.
you. Mhm.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks, Vanessa.